series. Here, Dennis Rodman and Bukowski getting all tangled up. And Dennis, with a flop there, just taking the little bump from Bukowski.
On Michael Jordan. Frank Bukowski involved, picking up his third personal.
And Bukowski and Rodman having some extracurricular talk there. Michael Jordan once again quickly getting. If you can get somebody involved, do it. Sean Kemp, you have to start getting physically involved in this ball game.
It's certainly his finest moment as a professional. And Jordan fouled by Hawkins, and Rodman and Bukowski getting involved.
And Phil Jackson at the other end of the floor taking a very long look and now whistling to his team out there. He does not want Dennis to do anything that is not going to have him ready for a game 4. You just have your heart in your throat at all times when they get tangled up. And see, Dennis initiates all that by getting his arms tangled up underneath the other player and then makes it appear that in this case Frank Bukowski is doing the holding.
Once again, with the game not in the balance, a 22-point lead. But these are certainly two of the freest spirits in the NBA. We don't need any sort of altercation here that would take away from this beautiful exhibition of basketball today by the Chicago Bulls.
Now, would this be considered taunting?
I was just going to say, why is that not taunting? Just a look and almost baiting Frank Bukowski to do something. Dennis has to settle down, play basketball, go play golf with Michael Jordan tomorrow and get ready for game 4.
But if you can't stand there at attention and look at somebody with a blank expression on your face, what are you allowed to do?
I think that was a bit more than right. Come together, and the officials very quick to move to that scene. Bukowski with number 4.
Rodman flashing to the ball. No need to overplay or try to deny him. Dennis is not looking to swing that sky hook across the middle. Gary Payton doing a lot of trash talking. Needs a little bit more game to back that talk up.
Shot clock down to 4. Jordan. And Rodman and Bukowski get involved. It looks like Pavetta has given the ejection sign. This has been brewing the last couple of minutes. I think he's thrown both out of the game. Bukowski ejected, flagrant foul 2. I thought Pavetta indicated that both were tossed. Let's see.
Well, this has been brewing ever since these two have gotten on the floor there. And this time Bukowski does get that forearm and elbow right into the Adam's apple of Dennis Rodman. But George Karl, who was ridiculing Rodman for all the things that he was getting away with after game 1, had nothing but praise for Dennis Rodman after game 2. I think we're going to hear more ridiculing after this one.
Dick Pavetta gave a succession of thumbs, but apparently he was making it clear that it was Bukowski who was gone, and Rodman remains, and now he and Kemp are having words.
Very difficult for George Karl to ridicule the starting power forward, leading rebounder in the series when you're down 3-0.
5:45 remaining in the 4th quarter.
Phil Jackson should do this game a favor, maybe take Rodman out.
Rodman and Kemp coming together, and Kemp picks up number 5. On the other hand, Phil Jackson may be enjoying the fact that Dennis Rodman has gotten into the heads of the Seattle players. And Michael Jordan just came over, giving us a look, as if to say, he's kind of amused by it, but what's going on here?
And Phil Jackson just peeking up at the clock again, wishing this thing would end without getting any further incident from Dennis Rodman. Phil Jackson, I'm sure, has already started thinking about Wednesday, and he knows he'll want to have Dennis Rodman on the floor.
But Dennis is quick to point out that he has not thrown a punch in 10 years in this league.
checking in. Dennis Rodman very upset that he's the man going to the bench. And I'm sure Phil Jackson will breathe a sigh.
Well, for Dennis, certainly a guy who enjoys the circus atmosphere that he has created. But there's no question that he has bothered the Seattle Supersonics, along with what has taken place on the scoreboard. That is a contributing factor.
It's embarrassing, Marv, to get blown out in your home court. Rakowski and Rodman working away from the ball. Obvious elbow to the face by Rakowski. Those elbows, you got to keep them in the chest area. Everything down in the torso is totally legal.
Well, there's Rakowski and Rodman in the same situation. The last one was called a double foul. This time Rakowski gets nailed.
Longley. Rodman with the tip. And the Sonics now lead 57-41. Mathis on the scene as Rodman and Rakowski came together. And Mathis and Crawford will talk it over.
This is very close to being a flop by Dennis Rodman. Rakowski obviously makes contact. Rodman tips the ball in, and Rakowski right there. That is a technical foul. Uncalled for by a skilled and good player, Frank Rakowski.
Well, you saw the first elbow by Dennis Rodman to incite something there, and then getting his head up against the Rakowski, and he bit the bait.
And Bill, Seattle has led by as many as 23, so the Bulls in the midst of their second run. And lands on Rodman and is enjoying it. You can be certain of that.
Dennis Rodman gives him a pat on the back. Even Dennis, the competitor he is, had to admire the terrific move here by Kemp. The hard spin, and then over the head as Dennis Rodman is helpless as the quickness, power, and strength of Kemp too much.
That was a human facial. Remaining in the third. Wingate fouled by Jordan. A hard foul. It is a flagrant. And as we have been discussing throughout the series, 5.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Rodman. Two-handed layup attempt by Rodman, and Kemp and Rodman come together and a foul call.
Well, I think that technical early on the game on Dennis Rodman took a lot of steam out of him, as the officials were going to let him know that they were not going to stand for anything here. Just not really expecting the pass, not comfortable with the ball in that situation, trying to draw a elbow or something from Kemp, but realizing that Kemp has gotten the better of him in this game.
Doesn't mean anything about your sight from this distance.
Well, that's how you get rebounds, by looking at the ball. That's one thing Luke Longley does not do very well.
And a foul is called, a pushing foul on Rodman. It's his first.
And Dennis Rodman slaps the ball out of the hands of Sean Kemp, and right away George Karl right into the face of the officials complaining about it. Well, all series long, Sean Kemp has been so strong, so quick in his low post moves, getting in there and drawing that personal foul. But these are the antics of Dennis Rodman that bring even more attention to himself and alert the referees. Just like that, you see Steve Jabbing watching him, George Karl complaining. These are the moves Dennis Rodman just has to stay away from.
Well, Michael Jordan telling us prior to the game that he hopes, and he's talked to Dennis about calming down because it just brings more attention not only to Rodman, but the teammates in terms of the officials checking them much closer. On that Sonic timeout, double technicals were called on Payton and Harper as they had words as they crossed pants in front of the official scorer's table. 10-point lead for Chicago.
The injuries, but that crowd right now is so ready.
Harper way off the boot. Dennis Rodman, who's been quiet the last two games, has certainly had an impact here tonight. Hawkins broken out. And here's Pippen leading the 3-on-2 as they spread the floor. Pippen to Rodman on the right. And a count.
Rodman doing what he does best, work on the offensive glass. Nobody gets the body on him. Frank Bukowski loses him right on the doorstep. Dennis Rodman finishing one off. And then you get the rare 3-on-2 fast break that you don't normally see. You see 3-on-1s, 2-on-1s, and Scottie Pippen making the nice play to Dennis Rodman.
With 9 points and 10 rebounds. Shot clock at 5. And away from the ball, the call against the Sonics as Rodman was taken down by Kemp. That's 3 on Kemp.
Rodman and Kemp away from the ball. Kemp, the frustration. That was not a foul. He threw him to the ground. Sean, you cannot lose your poise here. Dennis Rodman trying to get into your head. You've been above that all series. Stay that way.
And this is that little bit of a different tactic that the Sonics have not seen.